What does sustainability mean in your mind for business?
When I think about sustainability, I think not how does humanity coexist with nature, but how does my business coexist with nature? What do we want to protect? What do we truly value as humans in nature?
Good morning, Matthew. It's very nice to speak to you again. Pleasure to have you on Peace Parks TV and to talk a little bit about Richemont and your role as Director of Corporate Social Responsibility. So welcome. And maybe we can start off by you just introducing yourself, telling a little bit more about your background and your role in Richemont.
Well, good morning, Werner, and good morning, everyone. Good day. My background, I've been with the Richemont Group for a quarter of a century, through a number of career roles in finance, governance, and now I'm leading the sustainability agenda for the Richemont Group on behalf of the board. And that agenda encompasses the wide range of luxury goods maisons in the Richemont Group. There's jewelers and watchmakers like Cartier, there are online distributors like Net-a-Porter, there are fashion houses, there are pen makers, and they're all dedicated to craftsmanship and making beautiful products in Europe.
So Matthew, I mean, it does seem strange. The luxury goods company based in Europe, based out of Geneva where you are now, and supporting the Peace Parks Foundation. How come?
But we have long roots together. Our chairman, our common chairman, Werner, is Johann Rupert. He's chairman of the Richemont board, chairman of the Peace Parks Foundation. And Johann Rupert's father, Dr. Anton Rupert, set up Peace Parks Foundation. So long ago, it's almost as old as some of your trees. And Johann Rupert created the Richemont Group in 1988 as a spin-off from the old Rembrandt South African group. So that was for the European or non-South African part of the story. But the story of Peace Parks' evolution and the story of Richemont are tied together by this common chairman. The two organizations, of course, are quite separate, but we continue to be allies in a common cause. And beyond that, there are some transversal connections. Richemont is a long-standing member of the Peace Parks Club 21, so we're a major donor. We also have offsets that we buy each year to offset Richemont's carbon footprint. We do most of that through Peace Parks forests around the Zambezi River, and we have a common partner in that. And lastly, we do some direct fundraising at Richemont when we have an event, and we say, well, who should we raise funds for around this event? For example, the group finance conference. Our fundraising target was Peace Parks.
The buzzword, I suppose, in today's world is sustainability and coexistence between nature and people. But what does sustainability mean in your mind for business?
Well, my understanding of sustainability, which has many descriptions, I go for the simplest of all of them, which is how will humanity coexist with nature? How will humanity coexist with nature? We know we're not doing it well now because we've all seen the numbers. So we need to solve that, have a different approach. And when I think of humanity, I think of myself, the business I work in, and the society I live in. And how do we live with nature? How do we make nature our friend and not our enemy? How can we coexist? So when I think about sustainability, I think one step, I just change one word. Not how does humanity coexist with nature, but how does my business coexist with nature?
Maybe as a follow-on, is that also why Richemont is supporting the Peace Parks Foundation? Is that the link that you see around sustainability and coexistence?
Yes. You won't find jewelry makers in the middle of a Peace Parks, and you won't find a boutique selling Swiss luxury watches at the leaving gate of the park. So the relationship is much more subtle than that. It's more about what do you believe in, what do you value most. Now, We're making luxury goods, high-end watches, jewelry, and the other things I mentioned, even pens that can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars to collectors. Those are the things that we want to protect, the craftsmanship, the precious materials, and the history. And it's the same with nature. We want to protect and value most what's going on in the peace parks. So there's the common bond. But it's far away from the operational interests of either of us. Peace Parks doesn't feature in our boutiques, and we don't feature in the parks. There's one or two exceptions. Cartier has been directly involved in trying to protect some of the leopards of Africa by introducing and promoting alternatives to hunting leopards. But those are the rare examples. At a large scale, it's about what do we want to protect? What do we truly value as humans in nature?
So, I mean, talking of that, so that connectivity or that connection between a corporate like Richemont with a global footprint, but far removed from conservation areas here in Africa, do you see this connection, this global connection of Peace Parks Foundation protecting nature, having a direct benefit to a corporate like Richemont?
Direct, no. And I wouldn't want it to be direct. Perhaps in the hearts of our colleagues or my colleagues, that would be as direct as it gets. But when I look at the sustainability question, how do we coexist? I think about systems, large, complex, dynamic global systems. So the connection between a large part of Southern Africa and what's happening in a Swiss watch manufacturer, that's several systems away, but they all interconnect. That's what systems do. As soon as you start to understand that systems approach to the problems of nature, the problems of business, the problems of people, life on Earth, then you see that everything is always connected. Whether there's a causal direct link or not, that's another matter. But all systems are connected. Everything has an effect on everything else. So this is not grand theories about butterflies. This is just how it is. Systems are real. Business systems are real. Geo systems are real.
Matthew, so business are all about driving profit, unfortunately, a lot of the times, and Richemont is really at the leading edge of trying to be carbon neutral and to be a responsible corporate partner globally. Is there other ways? I mean, the impact investment is quite a big thing these days, and ESG funds. Do you believe that impact investment can help the conservation cause and supporting these landscapes in the long term?
I'm going to play my joker card here and say, Werner, you'd have to ask an impact investor, but my understanding is to protect and coexist with nature, there are a number of options. You can put a big fence, a huge fence, mentally or literally around nature and say, don't touch. That's one scenario. And that's how some countries are dealing with that coexistence. Humans over here, nature over there, don't mix the two. Another way is to build a coexisting relationship, which might be more sustainable, it might not. And then the investment piece that you asked me about, that has implications for those two different scenarios. An impact investor may say, I'll be the one buying that virtual fence, the no-touch fence. Do not cross this line. I will be the owner of the Amazon. I will be the owner of the river. It's my river, you don't go. Private rights. Or an impact investor may say, how can we build a regenerative approach so that nature comes back to humanity and the two coexist together and thrive together because they have a mutual interest to protect one another. That's my joker, Werner.
Absolutely agreed with that. Matthew, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your personal interest in Peace Parks and their support. We really appreciate your personal effort and also, of course, the wonderful support from Richemont that really is making a difference in the work of Peace Parks Foundation, enabling us to do our job so much easier. So I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for your time today.
You're welcome, Werner. Good luck with your grand cause. It's the only one that matters.